G'day everybody and welcome to Live Penguin TV. My name's Sky and I wish I was your host for tonight. I wish that I was at the Penguin Parade right now getting ready to watch the world's smallest and cutest little penguins cross the beach and head on home to their burrows. But instead, as you can probably see, I'm stuck here at home. I was even more excited about tonight because tonight we had the incredible wildlife presenter Michaela Strachan lined up to do the stream with me. We were going to talk all things penguin. It was our first night of our live streams for the UK where we're bringing the penguins to the people of the UK. You know what, this last 12 months has been full of changes of plans, hasn't it, everyone? And yeah, we've got some restrictions here in Victoria that are keeping us home. But that's not going to stop us from bringing the penguins to the people. We've got you covered. And tonight we're bringing you a live stream from last year where a feisty mama goose with her two little goslings set up shop in the middle of a popular penguin pathway. And look, needless to say, there was a bit of a standoff as our determined little penguins tried to get past her on their way home. We've affectionately called it Goosegate. Now there's going to be plenty of penguins crossing the beach and plenty of penguiny fun, and about the 24-minute mark is where it all kicks off. So look, I hope you have as much fun watching it as I did commentating. We are going to be bringing you the penguins live as soon as we possibly can. But until then, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Live Penguin TV. My name's Sky. I'm going to be your host for the evening tonight. And sitting in the producer chair tonight, we've got Ranger Stephen.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to be looking at all your comments tonight, so don't be shy. Put your questions in the comments. I'm going to do my best to give you a shout out live on the air, and we'll try our best to answer all of those questions tonight.
And keep in mind that we've got a team of rangers who will be answering your questions over the next 24 hours if you ask on Facebook. Don't have the tech to do it on YouTube just yet, but if you're coming to us on Facebook, if you write a comment on Facebook, we'll get you a question answered for you within the next 24 hours. And some of those rangers are probably on right now tonight. So if you see a prompt answer, look, it could be Stephen, but there's a good chance it's one of our other very hard-working rangers. So show them some love in the comments because they're working really hard to get those answers to you. But of course, we're here for the penguins, aren't we? It is a lovely Friday night coming up to the weekend, and we're coming to you live from Phillip Island, or Wominjeka Malau. Welcome to Phillip Island. That's how the traditional custodians of Phillip Island would welcome you to the island. And they are the Bunurong of the Kulin Nation. So I'd just like to acknowledge the Bunurong as the traditional custodians of this land and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And keep in mind that the reason we've got penguins here on the island is because the Bunurong have done such a good job at caring for country for thousands and thousands of years. So we're very thankful to the Bunurong for that, so that we can watch penguins crossing the beach tonight. So jump in the comments, let us know what country you are watching on. For us, it's Bunurong. For you all around the country and even around the world, it's going to be a little bit different. So let us know, and so we can pay our respects to the elders of the country that you're watching from as well. All right, let's get on to the penguins. Now, I know lots of you are wondering how many came in last night. And look, last night was a bumper night for penguins. We had 2,037 penguins cross the beach. I'll say it again, 2,037 penguins. And they crossed the beach at 6:48 last night. And we would expect it might be a similar start time tonight because if you have a look, it is a very low tide. If you've been a regular viewer, you might have seen nights where these waves are coming right up to where the vegetation is. But you can see that the penguins tonight have a really long, dangerous dash across the beach. So at the moment, the penguins are somewhere out in the ocean there, and they are going to be finding each other because they've spent their days out solitary, but they're coming together just before sunset to come in together and then make that dangerous dash across the beach here together as a group. And to find each other, they make a call, which our regular viewers will certainly know. It is a hucking noise. It goes like this. And they're saying to each other, hey, everybody, where are you? Are you ready to go? Because I'm ready to go. Yeah. And so they call to each other. They huck to each other. Now, I know, I've been looking in the comments, and I know some of you are actually beginning to use that huck as a bit of a greeting to each other in the comments, and I think that's so sweet. You're just like the penguins. You've spent your day out separately in your homes, maybe doing your homeschooling in all sorts of countries around the world, but at this time of night, we find each other, we huck to each other, and we enjoy the penguins together. So I think that's really sweet, and I'm really enjoying watching the community that is forming within the comments. And we thank you so much for many of you tuning in night after night, encouraging us, supporting us, and really helping us have a really good time with this live stream. So thank you so much for tuning in. And for those of you who are regular viewers, I think we need to come up with some sort of name for you guys. You know, the Star Trek fans are known as Trekkies. What are the Penguin live stream fans going to be called? I was thinking maybe the Penguin Patrol. Stephen thought maybe the Waddlers, the Penguinies. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you want to be called, you return viewers, because I want to call you something better than return viewers. For those of you who are watching for the first time, though, you can always become a return viewer by tuning in tomorrow night, because it changes every single night. We have different amount of penguins. We have a lot of different things that are going on. So the penguins are out there somewhere. It's going to be very hard to see them tonight because it is a little bit choppy, and our camera is actually looking a little bit foggy. I wonder if there's a bit of a sea mist that's coating our camera, but I think that won't interrupt our viewing too much tonight, so don't you worry. But I think we will have trouble seeing any rafts tonight. I think we're going to have to wait till Stephen gets the call on the radio telling us that there's penguins at the water's edge, and then we'll have a look and see what we can see. But we're expecting a few penguins are going to arrive just in front of us there, and they're going to make this really long, dangerous dash across the beach here. They might even use this stream that we've got along here to help them, because they, of course, prefer to be swimming and using the water. They're much more fluent in the water than they are on land. And then they're going to arrive on these rocks. Now, you might have just seen Jordan wandering around on the path. I'll see if I can get her. Oh, yep, there she is. That's Jordan. And she's actually doing a live stream cross tonight it's the Hindu Metro Plus on Instagram. So that's why she's going to be on that stand tonight. So you might see that bright orange jacket every now and then. I'll try and keep her a little bit out of shot because it's going to be really bright for our eyes. But give some love to Jordan and give her some encouragement for what should be a really interesting cross that you can probably check out on Instagram. But after this, go after this. We don't want you to leave our live stream. So we are Phillip Island Nature Parks. We are in charge of the Penguin Parade. And if you were joining us on Facebook, you might have seen an announcement, which really only applies to our regional Victorian viewers, but we will be opening on the 28th of September to regional Victorians. So if you are from regional Victoria, jump on the website for more details about how you can come and actually see these penguins live, or our Koala Conservation Reserve that we also look after, or Churchill Island that we also look after. We also look after a lot of the Southside beaches, and we look after some natural areas on the island too. So we do all sorts of good work on Phillip Island, particularly for conservation and research and education. But if you want to support us live in person, you can do so from the 28th of September. Never fear though, for those of you who aren't in regional Victoria and still can't quite make it to us for a little bit longer, never fear, we will be continuing these live streams for the foreseeable future. So don't worry, you can still come and get your penguin fix every night for quite some time. And of course, you can help us by donating to the Penguin Foundation. The link is in the description, which might be below or above, depending where you're watching. And if you click on that link, you can see how you can adopt a penguin, become a penguin pal, or just donate to our cause to help us continue to do the important work that we do.
So Sky, we got a couple of people wondering why aren't the penguins coming out of the ocean right now? Why are they waiting?
Why are they waiting? Oh, that's a really good question, and I wish they wouldn't, because I'd love to be watching the penguins right now. But no, they're waiting because the sun, it's still quite light, really, and they are nervous. They are nervous to cross the beach while it is still light. There are predators who are perhaps still awake right now that could take them or eat them if they come out of the water too early. So they are waiting for the cover of darkness to sort of sneak across the beach. They're waiting until those predators have gone to bed. And those predators are things like birds like Pacific gulls or swamp harriers or even wedge-tailed eagles. But once the sun has set, most of those birds have gone to bed, and that is when it is safe for the penguins to emerge out of the water. Of course, these little penguins have a blue feathers on their back, so when they're swimming in the ocean, they blend in really nicely with the ocean. But when they have to make that dangerous dash across the beach, those blue feathers don't camouflage at all with the golden sand that we've got here on Phillip Island. So it's no good for them. They'd stick out like a sore thumb if they cross the beach any earlier than the cover of darkness. So that's why they're not here now. That's why they're still waiting in the ocean. And particularly on a night like tonight, it's a very, very low tide. That means they've got a longer dash across the beach. They've got more time where they're going to be sticking out, more time where they could potentially get taken by something that might like to eat them. So they might wait a little bit later tonight than even usual just to make sure that they're safe. But we are approaching the time that they arrived last night, so I'm hoping they'll arrive soon. But let's jump across to this. Have a little look. So in this camera here, you might be able to see a Cape Barren goose with two little goslings. So can you see those two tiny little fluffy balls next to the Cape Barren goose there? Those are that Cape Barren goose's little babies, little chicks, little goslings. They look like little hot cross buns. They've kind of got black and white stripes, and they're really fluffy at the moment. Sticking very close to mum and or dad at this age. And they're kind of, look, I wouldn't say they're friends of the penguins. They're certainly not foes of the penguins either. They live together pretty harmoniously. However, if there is a Cape Barren goose in the penguin pathway, sometimes those penguins are not very keen to approach. So sometimes we see a little bit of a backlog of penguins if there is a Cape Barren goose in the way. So that was a bit of a treat to see those goslings in particular and that Cape Barren goose right there. But I believe I was telling you about predators and things like that. Yeah. So tonight we're watching the little penguins. I'm not just saying that because they're little. They certainly are, but that is their name. They are the little penguin. Okay. While we wait, we might see if you've got any questions coming in.
Yep. So we've got Sarah, who's 6 years old, and she's wondering, what are the penguins eating in the daytime? What do they like to eat?
Hi, Sarah. What do penguins like to eat? They love seafood. They are out in the water because that is their supermarket. That is where the food they like to eat is. They can't really eat anything on land, so that's why we see them going out. So I'm just looking for rafts at the moment. That's why we're looking at the water. But yeah, that's why they go out to the water, because they've got to get their food. They've got to go to the supermarket. And they love to eat all sorts of seafood that fits within their tiny little beaks. So it tends to be things like anchovies, like you'd find on a pizza, or pilchards, or squid, small little squid, or sea jellies. And the reason I call them sea jellies and not jellyfish is because sea jellies aren't actually fish. They're more closely related to, I'm looking closely, is that penguins? It might be. No, it might just be a rock. Yeah, they're more closely related to coral, and sea jellies are more closely related to coral than they are to fish. So that's why we call them sea jellies rather than jellyfish these days. No, I think Ooh, what do you reckon that is?
We just had a call over the radio. Beck said that there's a couple of penguins at water's edge, just over where we're looking right now.
Oh, I wonder if,
They're a bit far away, so it's tricky to see them.
yeah, I wonder if that's what we're looking at, but they're blending in much too well. I can see just a little bit of movement. I think the camera, on such a low tide, it is hard for the camera to pick up details in the far distance. So let us know in the comments if you spot them before I do. Let's see if they're in amongst these rocks. We're looking out for white bellies. So I told you they've got blue feathers on their back, but they've got white bellies on the front, and that is what stands out in these dark nights. Oh, yeah, I reckon we might have some over here. There we go. Yes, we do. Okay, let's see what we can see. Oh, yeah, it's quite a little group of them there. Look at them go. Ah, yes, here we go. We've got penguins, everybody. They're here. So this is one of our other pathways. This is not a pathway we see very often, at least from where we're looking. This is a pathway that would be you'd get a great view of this pathway if you were sitting on West Stand. So for those of you lucky enough to come and visit us in the next week or so, if you're sitting on West Stand, you would see these penguins really quite nicely. And they're really going for it.
Don't forget to put a guess of how many penguins are in that group. We'll let you know in the near future, when our penguin counter gets back to us, how many penguins are in the first groups.
Now I'm going to just head back, only because I wonder if these penguins are making the dangerous dash. I wonder if there'll be any that are a bit more easy for us to see on their way, and I'd love to catch those. No, not yet. All right, we'll head back to those other ones while we wait, and hopefully we'll hear a call when the others arrive at the Penguins Plus stand. Now, where are you, little penguins? Ah, yeah, they're in amongst the rocks. Just trying to get the camera to zoom in enough so that you can see them. So they've hit a big clump of rocks now, and now they've stopped. They're looking at those piles and going, that's going to be a really difficult rock scramble. Can I be bothered right now? Maybe not. It's really interesting for them to stop midway along the beach, but you really do only see it when they are at the rocks. They feel a little bit more confident when they're in amongst the rocks because their blue feathers blend in with the dark rocks. So this is something that we see a little bit. They sort of have maybe a breather on the rocks, maybe a little micro sleep, and then they'll continue along again. You can see their little, as I said, their little white bellies standing out in amongst the rocks. Yep, they're tentatively making their way along those rocks there.
We don't have a number of how many are in that first group yet because they haven't officially crossed the beach yet. Ooh. So we're still waiting for them to cross before we finally add up all those numbers, because you never know if a couple of penguins are going to sneak in and join that group at the last minute.
Yep, and we only start our penguin count once 5 penguins have crossed halfway across the beach. That's when we officially start it. So maybe they're not at the halfway mark just yet. And then after that, we count the penguins for 50 minutes, 50 minutes. So no non-official start just yet. They're going to make it halfway, and it is a long beach tonight. So it might be a bit of a later start time tonight. They're tentatively making their way. And of course, we have been counting these penguins since 1968, almost every night. And we've continued counting them every night, even since we've been closed. So I've had 2 rangers in tonight. It is Ranger Beck and Ranger Pip. They are our penguin counters tonight, who are going to be responsible for checking in with us as to how many penguins arrive. But look, I am going to leave this group here because you've got to think that there'd be penguins near our pathway now. And I want to get you some nice clear pictures of penguins tonight. I know you're here for the penguins. I know what you like. So let's see. Don't get seasick as a zoom. Let's have a little look. I think I was right. Fantastic. Perfect timing. So this little waddle of penguins, so they're a raft when they're in the water, but they are a waddle. We affectionately call them a waddle once they arrive out of the water. I'm having trouble getting the focus tonight. Let's have a little look. There we are. We've got a little waddle of penguins just arriving at the moment. You might be able to see those white bellies making their way towards us. They are packed together quite tightly. They are feeling the pressure tonight. They are nervous. It's still reasonably light. It is a long dash for them tonight. They are sticking together. Towards the end of the dangerous dash, you might see them spread out a little bit, but for the moment they are really holding themselves together. So let's zoom out a little bit to get the context. Let's see the water. Let's see them making their way. So have a guess as to how many penguins are in that group, and we'll see if Ranger Beck or Dr. Beck can tell us how many are in this first raft on Penguins Plus. So jump in the comments with your guesses, everyone. That's a tough group to count. I'm glad that's not my job. It's much easier talking to all of you than trying to do the counting. So they're moving pretty slowly. And that's usually, while they're on the first sort of halfway, they tend to move slowly and cautiously, because if something swoops down at them, they want to be able to run back to the ocean. Once they make it halfway, though, if something swoops down on them, they're more likely to run towards the shore, towards us on land. And so we often see them pick up the pace once they make it about halfway across the beach. And yep, they're picking up the pace now. They're feeling like they've made it to the home stretch. They're spreading out now. The ones at the front are like, I don't care about you at the back. I'm saving myself. The ones at the back, they're feeling a bit unsure, aren't they? They're sort of pausing and going, maybe I won't continue. The race is on, everybody. And some of them are making it onto the safety of the rocks right now, feeling a lot better. Oh, you made it, penguins. Welcome home. So good to see you. You made us wait, but you know what? It just makes us want you more. So you can see them stumbling over the rocks. Let's have a little look back at the few that got left behind. They're just stuck in the rocks now. Are they going to make the dangerous dash themselves, or are they going to wait for another group to arrive? They might be waiting a while before another group arrives. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. There's, what do we reckon, about 4 or 5 poor little ones that got left behind. No, they are soldiering on. Look at them. Very courageous to go it alone. Courageous or silly? Up to you to decide. Yep, they're stumbling over these rocks now. They are. And they must be feeling much more safe now. So we'll see. Sometimes they stop and wait here. Others will continue on through. And as we've seen for the past few nights, there we go. Bit of zoom now. Thank you, camera, for playing along with me finally. We have got this ephemeral pool that is still in front of our stand here. So the penguins have got a bit of an easier journey at the moment, where they can swim for a little bit longer. I told you they're much more confident. Oh, slow down, penguins. You're going too fast for me. They're much more confident in the water than they are on land. So having this little pool here makes their journey home a little bit easier, and it's just come from rain. We've just had a lot of rain recently, so it's filled up, but it will drain away. You can actually see the streams of it draining onto the beach. So it won't be here forever. So enjoy it while it is here. And some of you, if you're watching last night, you would have seen Ranger Stephen doing some penguin Olympics with penguins jumping and diving into that pool. But let's have a look at this full screen view. Let's have a look at them walking along the Penguin Highway here.
Now, for those of you who are counting that first big group crossing in front of us, just recently we had 116 penguins in that first group.
Oh, so we are well on track for another bumper night, everybody. If we've got rafts of 116 penguins, then I think we're going to see some good numbers of penguins tonight, and that is to be expected, actually. Frankly, let's call it what it is. It is breeding season. These penguins have reasons to come home at the moment. They might have eggs to incubate and sit on. They might have chicks that they need to feed, and these chicks really need feeding every single day. So they've got reasons to come home. If they've got a little chick, they need to be bringing it food every day, which means that they need to be coming home every day. And so while one parent, either male or female, will stay with the eggs or the chicks during the day, the other will go out and get food, and then they swap. So our penguins believe in equality. We have equal parenting by the males and females, which is really good. Very progressive of you, penguins. So we've got a couple of penguins just stopped in the pathway here. Oh, because of the geese. Ah, yep. Okay, so that goose that we saw before with the little goslings is in, oh, and they're running. Can you see them fleeing? So I don't know if they've got spooked by that goose or if something else has spooked them, but they certainly aren't happy about something. We see them running back. And yet that pesky goose is right in the way. See if I can get you a close-up on the goose. There is one very gutsy penguin who reckons it can take that goose on. And you know what? It can probably. They're pretty bitey, our little penguins. They're pretty feisty. Oh, no, changed its mind. It's sort of backing down. It had a lot of courage before, and now that the goose looked at it, it's gone, oh, no, I don't think I do want to take you on. And it sort of turned its back. It's like, no, I wasn't challenging. I wasn't doing it. Oh, yep, no. Oh, we've got another very gutsy penguin. Have a look at this. What does the goose think of that? Oh, tales of love and war here at the Penguin Parade tonight. Interspecies interactions. Oh, the goose is challenging those penguins. Did you see it sort of pop its face or its neck towards those little penguins? They're getting quite a penguin pile up here as well. We're getting a backlog of these penguins waiting to cross this path. Move out the way, goose. You're stuffing it up. These penguins use the same pathways night after night, you see. They don't like to, they're creatures of habit. Oh, yeah, here we go. We're challenging again. Oh, goose isn't, oh, the goose is not happy with that. Can you see that really quite aggressive stance by the goose going, back off? And this is a protective parent. It's got goslings. It's protecting its little chicks, its little babies.
Ooh, don't get too brave, little penguins. You don't want to get in a fight with Mama Goose.
Yeah, not while she's got her babies. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. What are these penguins going to do? As I said, they're creatures of habit. They don't like to go different ways. They like to use the same pathways night after night. Nope, retreating again. This is quite a showdown. Oh, I'm very intrigued by this. Oh, yeah, they're trying again. They're trying again. That Mama Goose is not budging. She's got her spot. Just move. But no, she's actually sitting down by the looks of it. She might have settled in for the night. What are these penguins going to do? All right, look, we might check back in on this situation a little bit later. I do want to head back to the beach and see if we've got any more rafts arriving, everybody. So we'll see how that progresses throughout the night. I will cross back, but no, there's probably more rafts arriving, and I want to show you them.
Ruzika had a question. She was wondering if penguin feathers, I think she believed fur, but penguins have feathers. Do penguin feathers get patchy? And if they pick a fight with a mother goose, I bet their feathers would get very patchy if a mama goose takes a bite out of them.
Oh, absolutely. I'll come back to that a little bit later, but check out this giant raft or now waddle of penguins, and they have spread right out. I'm glad I crossed back when I did.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh, I don't know if we've seen anything like that yet on Penguin Live TV. So that is a really big raft of penguins. I'm zooming nice and far out so you can just see the context of that line of penguins reaching almost from the edge of the water all the way to the shore. That is a huge waddle of penguins, and just spare a thought for Ranger Beck, who's doing the counting tonight. That would have been a really tough raft of penguins for her to count. I'm glad we crossed back when we did that. That gosling was great, but it's been also really great to see this raft of penguins, this waddle of penguins arriving too. Yeah, it is going to be a bumper night, everybody. You'll have to tune in tomorrow night if you would like to know how many do arrive tonight. Oh, I hope we get over 2,000. We've also got a penguin just down the bottom of the screen making its way to its burrow, which might be nice and close to the shore. Which is lucky for this little penguin because some of our penguins have to travel up to 2 kilometres home tonight. Oh, yep, it is a penguin party down there. It is absolutely penguin pandemonium, in fact. There's just penguins everywhere. I don't even know where to show you. There's too much interesting stuff going on. Oh, cool. Okay, so in the back of this view, you might be able to see the ongoing war between the goose and the penguins. Can you see those white bellies in the distance up the back there? And I forgive you if you're distracted by the multitudes of penguins that are coming along the pathway right now. But yeah, in the background, you might be able to see those white bellies in the distance. And I think that's still the penguin pileup with the goose. I think they're still stranded there. Oh, there's too much to show you all tonight. There's too much fun stuff going on. Oh, never a dull night here at the Penguin Parade.
Hamish has a question. He wants to know how many penguins come home on average?
Oh, okay. Thanks for the question, Hamish. And that's a difficult question because there's not really one answer at any all the time because it does change. At this time of year, we can see really big numbers like the 2,000 that we got last night would be very expected for a breeding season night. In the winter, it can be a lot lower though because they don't have as many reasons to come home. So in the winter, we can have quite small nights comparatively with only a few hundred penguins coming home each night. But yep, in these breeding seasons, we can see maybe 2,000, 3,000. We've even had over 4,000 penguins arrive home a few nights. It's not very common, but it does happen. So you'll have to keep tuning in to see if you can see one of the nights where it's one of those 4,000 nights. But it does happen. So, yep, it really depends on the time of year, Hamish, as to how many we get. But for this time of year, 2,000 is really normal. Still very special, but yeah, pretty expected, pretty normal. So they're waddling along this penguin highway here. That's because it's a flat, easy way for them to get home. They love their penguin pathways. The easier, the better. And that's why those penguins in the back are really disgruntled with this goose because it's a well-worn pathway that they're using. It's been walked over by lots and lots of penguins over generations and generations. It's easy for them. They don't want to have to go round. They don't want to have to push through the grass. They want the easiest way home possible. And fair enough if they're walking 2 kilometres. They just don't stop coming along this highway. I keep going to flick off, but they just keep arriving. I am going to leave it though, because I want to go back to the beach and I'll do a quick look to see if there's more rafts arriving. But if not, I do want to check back in on the goose and see what's happening. Oh, I'm glad I came this way. Look at all those penguins. And huge numbers tonight, big rafts tonight. Did we have any word on that big raft from before?
116 came in that first raft, but I haven't heard about the last one we saw.
Yep, and you know what? Fair enough. I think Ranger Beck's got enough on her plate without having to let us know. I think she's busy with penguins because remember that this pathway that we're looking at is just one of the pathways that we're watching, that Beck, is watching. She's got about 5 penguin pathways that she needs to be counting. So, I'd say on a night like tonight with so many penguins, she really needs to give her full attention to trying to count all of these little penguins crossing the beach. The poor thing. Yep, they are marching their way home. These are penguins on parade.
I've got a difficult question for you, Sky. I don't know if you know the answer to this one, so I'm going to throw you in the deep end here. Now, this is from Jayla, and she wants to know, what's the average body temperature of our penguins?
Jayla, asking the tough questions. I don't know, but Stephen, I hope you know.
I sure do. The average temperature of our penguins is a little bit warmer than us. It's around 38 degrees, which would be a high fever if you're a human, but for a penguin, they want to hit those warmer temperatures.
Yep, and that's actually true of a lot of birds. A lot of birds are a little bit hotter than we run. They run a little bit hotter. And particularly, I've done a fair bit of wildlife rescue in my time. And when you're dealing with little babies that perhaps don't have very big feathers, when you touch them, they feel almost burning hot because, yeah, they're clocking in at 39 and even 40 degrees. But, yeah, good to know that the average for a penguin is, what did you say, 38? I'll know for next time. Good one, Jayla. Tricking the rangers. And that's what we love to see. We want you to ask questions so that we learn and grow as well. Now, please focus, camera. Oh, yep. So there we go. I would say this is the dregs of the last raft. They're feeling a bit more courageous coming in now, quite spread out because it is quite dark out there. So this might be one of the last times I cross to the beach because the cameras are having a bit more trouble picking up the light. So enjoy it. There's a few more penguins on the water's edge, not making that dash yet. But let's... A
lot of people are curious if you have any update on the standoff between the penguins and the goose.
Yep, okay, yep, fair enough. Let's do it. I want to know too. Oh gosh, look at all those penguins standing on those rocks there. But let's go find out what's going on with the goose. I think I can still see them in the background, so I think it is still continuing, but let's find out for sure. Okay. Oh yes, we've got quite a backlog now. They've got quite an audience. Can you see them all gathering about? They don't know what to do. They're giving that goose a fair bit of social distance. They're not wanting to get too close, and fair enough. I don't know if any of you have had a showdown with a goose. I certainly have, and they are mean. Particularly a mama goose who's got some goslings. We've got more penguins who are pushing along. I wonder at what point we'll sort of get to the point where the penguins feel like there's enough of them that they can take on the goose. Some of them are given up. You can see some of them just walking back. But no, they're she's still challenging. Can you see that? Can you see that lunge? She's saying, not today, penguins. Oh, yeah, you might have to go round, penguins. I don't think she's going to move. Oh, but they are really taking her on. But this has been going on for what, about 10 minutes now, Stephen?
It's been happening for a while. But on that note, I do want to let everybody know we have about 5 minutes left before we're going to wind down the stream. So get your last questions in, and hopefully the action continues tonight. There's a bit of drama happening in the penguin colony.
Yeah, they are full of drama, these penguins. Just calm down, penguins.
Leave those poor goslings alone.
Yeah. Yeah, they got there first, in fairness. They got there first. You need to find a different way around. Whose team are you on? Team Goose or Team Penguin? Let us know in the comments. I'm not sure. I'm kind of split 50-50. I love the guts of this one mama goose just really telling the penguins what's what. Like that is a fair waddle of penguins that she's smacking down right now. And it's just there's so much going on. Have a look in the top corner as well. There's stacks of penguins on that highway too. And I'm struggling to know where to show you tonight. There's too much going on. This is really quite a standoff. I'm so intrigued.
Bit of a topical question. Somebody was wondering what the threats are to the little penguins, and maybe just besides this one goose that's in their way.
Yeah. So obviously a mama goose who's protecting her bubs. Oh, one penguin is almost getting past. Oh, no, he's running back. Oh, did you see that, everybody? That penguin was so close to getting past, and that mama goose just said no. They're looking like they're thinking about going this other way now, though. Can you see a few of them are thinking strategically and are thinking of going around this other this penguin burrow. So this is an artificially made burrow that penguins might call home. Really interesting stuff going on tonight. But yeah, what are some other threats besides this goose? So unfortunately, a lot of the threats for these penguins are man-made or human threats. So a big one is marine debris. Oh, she's feisty. Look at that. So yeah, marine debris. So rubbish in the water. So make sure that you get your rubbish in the bin. And particularly a big one is balloons. A really dangerous. Oh, one. Can you see that penguin? Oh, yes. There we go. The strategy is to go between the goose and the house. That one penguin has got through. Oh, you clever thing. She might be meeting her match now, everybody. We might have got to the point where there's enough penguins. Oh gosh, and there's a stack of them that. Oh, no, they're still fleeing from it. But sorry, yes, I'll try and finish my story. So balloons are a big problem for these penguins, particularly balloons that go flying up into the sky. They don't just go up to heaven. Oh, they're fleeing. They don't just go up to heaven, but they do. She might have. Sorry, there's just too much going on. She seems to have stood up now, which might be a sign that she's willing to move somewhere else. I think she might have conceded defeat. She's still letting them know, hey, this is my spot, but she is definitely moving off the pathway. So this is now the chance for the little penguins to scoot around the side there and head on up the pathway. The rest of these guys are getting chased through the grass there. Now's your chance, little penguins. Go, 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 go. Oh, I think they've done it. Well done, little penguins. You have won this round. All right, let's go back to the beach now that we've resolved that issue. Oh, that was such fun tonight. Yes, balloons are a big problem. They don't go up to heaven. They do eventually pop and then find their way into our waterways and particularly into our ocean. And when those balloons end up in the bellies of our penguins, they are really quite fatal for our penguins, but also lots of seabirds. And it's such an easy change to make. We're not even asking you to stop using balloons overall. We're just asking you not to use them outside. And if you do, to make sure that they end up in the bin rather than letting them go. If you've got an event, perhaps blow bubbles instead of balloons. And that's a really, really simple change that you can make that will make a difference to our penguins and to our seabirds worldwide. What an easy thing to do. So commit tonight, decide in your head, right, I'm not going to release balloons outside. I'm not going to use balloons outside. I'm going to use streamers and bunting and other decorations so that they don't accidentally end up in the bellies of our penguins and our seabirds, because we want to conserve them for years to come. So, yep, these penguins are continuing to jump into this pool here. We've got the goose, and the goslings have actually moved onto the full screen. Onto the Penguin Highway now. And so we might see a bit of a backlog soon of penguins not wanting to cross this pathway now too. We might have Goose Gate all over again. So let's watch how this continues. And while we watch, we'll get another question from Stephen.
Yeah, so we've noticed the penguins come home at night, and we have a question from Will, who is 7, and Archer, who is 4, and they're wondering, what time do the penguins go into the ocean in the morning?
Hey, Will and Archer, thanks for tuning in. So we find that they really like to cross that beach in the cover of darkness. So what we see is that they tend to head back into the ocean about an hour or two before sunrise. But we have seen that they don't move in these big groups like we get at night. They tend to go in dribs and drabs. And it's not much for us to show you at that time of night because, 1, we don't put on the lights, so you wouldn't be able to see anything. And 2, when they're walking out to the ocean, it is their blue feathers on their back that you see. So they don't stand out at all. So that is one of the big reasons why we don't do a morning viewing. But also, who wants to get up an hour or two before sunrise? Not me.
No, I sure don't want to wake up at 5 in the morning, maybe 4 in the morning. Hike all the way out here and just see some penguin bums going into the water. That's not very interesting.
No, thanks. Not for me. So I think it'll be a while before that's something that we offer. I think that'd be one for you real big penguin fans out there. Have we got any names for what we're calling you yet? Keep them coming in the comments.
Lots of good names. We'll see if we'll get a vote on later to see what we're going to call our regular return viewers.
Yeah, we'll have a look in the comments and we'll see which ones tickle our fancy. All right, let's go back to the main screen and see what's going on. So I'll have one last little look out to the ocean and see if we've got more penguins on the horizon. But I am thinking with the darkness, it is going to be very hard to spot them. Yep, it's almost just a sea of darkness. You can sort of see some white bellies, but I think our best penguin viewing is going to be on these rocks now. And it must be almost time for us to be heading home. So get in any last questions. Remember to donate to the Penguin Foundation because that supports the work that we do. It helps care for these penguins, care for where they live, this colony of 32,000 penguins. It helps look after them. It helps run our wildlife hospital. So if any of these penguins get into trouble, we can help them. If any of them took on that goose too ferociously and got themselves in trouble, yep, we could help them with our wildlife hospital. So remember to adopt a penguin, become a penguin pal, or just donate to us. It's a really good cause, particularly if you've been enjoying these penguin streams night after night. Remember, we are continuing them for quite some time to come. Do tune in tomorrow to see how many we get, or how many we had tonight. I think it's a stack. I think it's looked like a stack. And for the last minute or two, do let us know perhaps a dive score or a jump score for some of these penguins that are using this little peninsula as a diving board. This is a two-person dive. It might be a synchronized dive here. Are you going to jump in together? No, they're just looking around. They're just waiting. Oh, here we go. Yep, jumping in. No, one jumped in before the other. And it's a lot of feet first. I don't know what the Olympic Committee would think about some of these. All right. Any last questions, Stephen, before we wind up? Anything I need to tell everybody before we say good night for another night here on Phillip Island?
Nope. Some people are wondering, is this the most dramatic night we've had so far on our live stream?
Oh, I think it's the most dramatic night I've had as a host. Like, I feel like I'm going to have a shower after this. I've got so hot and sweaty from wondering what's going to happen. What do you think, Stephen?
Absolutely. No doubt this is the most dramatic night I've ever seen here on the live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. What a night. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a great time, you guys. I hope you have too. And I hope to see a few of you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be watching from home. I'm not exactly sure who's on tomorrow.
Might be Heather, might be tomorrow.
Might be Heather, maybe Jordan, maybe Michael. One of those three, I reckon, is who you'll have back tomorrow. So make sure you tune in, show them some love. But from Stephen and I, we want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a lovely night, and we'll probably see you sometime next week.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.